Oh, wow. Okay. Okay. All right. Thanks, Carl. All right. Happy Valentine's Day, everyone. I'm so proud of you being here. I brought us chocolates, and it's never too early for chocolates, right? Anyone? No? Okay. It's 11 o'clock. We're going to start. I'm going to pass around chocolates, sweeten you guys up. Okay, we're going to do some introductions because I do want to know you guys. Hopefully, I'm here to help. If I do not do that, I am fired. They'll never let me teach again. And yeah, I'm here to help you with your business, where you're at. I do love new agents and I love this business. So, oh, you're going to throw that away from me? Okay. And then, okay, so let's start. I do want to know who's in the room. So we're going to do a few things. I want you to give me your name, what you did prior to real estate, how long you've been in real estate, and why real estate. Okay, so name, what you did prior to real estate, how long you've been in, and why real estate. Can we do that? Okay, we'll start here in the front.
Rodney Downs.
Rodney Downs. Oh, do I need to pass this so that people can hear? Yeah, I think so. Okay. The struggle. Yeah. Okay. All right. Perfect. Yeah. For right now, we'll just do a quick introduction of everybody.
Okay. Now, hello.
There you go.
Hello. Hello.
Hold
Okay.
it like that, everyone.
So Rodney Downs. For 20 years before I got into real estate, I worked for an accounting firm doing facilities management, project management stuff.
Sounds exciting.
I got into real estate almost a year ago. In a couple of weeks will be a year. And I got into it. I wish I would have got into it years ago, but my job was doing well. I didn't realize I was going to get laid off. This isn't.
Can you all hear him on Zoom?
Yep.
We're
Okay.
good. Yep. Just keep talking in it just like that.
So I wish I would have got into it a long time ago. But my job was going good, so I didn't. And then I got laid off, and
you made a career shift.
Right.
And how's it going?
I had the savings to do it, so it's going slow.
It's going slow. Okay,
So
well,
it's getting there.
hopefully we can give some tips today that will get your business going.
All right. My name is Caden Crowther.
What did you do before real estate?
So, let's see. I mean, I've done a lot of different things.
Haven't we all?
Yeah. I mean, I got home from a mission about 6 months ago, and I was working as an assistant for an agent. And so as far as like career wise, I mean, this is where I'm at right now, because I graduated high school and went on the mission. But I just really love the industry because it's like about people.
Mm-hmm.
I love like interacting with people and helping them. And I love like the freedom that it provides as well. And so it's been awesome. I've been an agent for I just got my license half a month ago.
Okay, so, good job, Caden.
That's right.
He's off and running.
Right.
Yes.
All right, I'm Kaylee Kohler. I got my license back in April, and I'm back now. I'm a server at a country club, so I still do that. And then is it why
real estate?
I had a friend that kind of motivated me into doing real estate, but I really like the qualities that agents have, like just being self-motivated and I don't know, like I don't know, just like the character you have. I think I like that, and I could use some of that myself.
Yeah, it's a fun industry.
I'm Adrienne Donner. I've had my license for 14 months. Been in real estate like 3 years or so doing investments. And
so you've had your license 14 months, but you've been in real estate 3 years. Did you have a role working for someone else, or just that you were looking at investments and buying investments?
I was buying investments. Working
awesome.
Yeah.
I wish y'all had name tags though, because I'm gonna Rodney, like it's put a little piece of paper in front of you with like your names. Okay, so, and why
real estate?
Yeah,
To build generational wealth.
yeah,
Um,
yeah, for
Yep.
sure. Because if you're loving what you do in real estate, then you just can't help but one of our what would be the word? One of the hazards of being an agent is you walk through properties and then you're like, oh, I like this one. I go home to my husband and I say, I didn't buy shoes and I didn't buy a purse, but I did buy a condo, or I did put in an offer on another property. So it's a hazard. But if you need to purchase properties as you go so that someday you can retire and have residual income.
My name's Amy Erdman, and I've had my license for it'll be 2 years in July. And I was in the medical field for 17 years before this. And
What did you do in the medical field?
I was a medical assistant and supervisor
Okay, cool.
at a clinic. And I've just seen a lot of net worth be built in real estate
For
through
sure.
family. And then I really do love like the new build side of things. I don't know. I
Yeah.
just love looking at houses, really what it boils down to. So
Yeah.
I just know there's some good money to be made, and that's why I got into it.
Okay, love it. Are people on Zoom? Who's on Zoom? If you can just chime in and tell us your name, what you did prior to real estate, how long you've been in, and why real estate.
I can go. So my name is Austin Polson, and I've been in real estate for about a year, but just kind of getting back into it since there's a lot of life things that prevented me from going full on. And so, before real estate, I was in healthcare as well. So in-home caregiving, that's what brought me to Utah. I expanded an in-home caregiving company out here. Then after about 2 years, switched directions. I've always been interested in investing. So the entire time I was doing in-home caregiving, I was also listening to just doing a ton of research on just property investing in real estate. And so, made the change. My wife started working, so we switched roles. I was a stay-at-home dad, did real estate, and she works.
All right.
So that's where we're at now. And I mostly got into it because I was super interested in investing, and I thought being an agent would be a great way to facilitate all of that.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Thanks, Austin. Is that everybody on Zoom? Oh,
Hi, so I am on the same boat. My name is Marty, and I've been on real estate about a year, but I feel like I'm new still. I kept working full time. Right now I'm doing part time. And before real estate, I was doing sales in a call center. I worked for Nuskin for over 6 years. And I joined real estate because of the flexibility and because my in-laws told me to, and I liked it. So thank you.
yeah, that's great. Anyone else on there? No. And you just came in. Give him the microphone and give us your name, what you did prior to real estate, how long you've been in real estate, and why you're in real estate. And pass the chocolates. Keep passing the chocolates. Take a few.
Hello, my name's Lyric. So before real estate, I was an apprentice gunsmith. So I worked on firearms. That was what I did for a living.
Very cool.
And so I've been in real estate 2 months now. So,
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, and why I like real estate?
Yes.
Oh.
Why real estate?
It's something new every day. It's not monotonous, and you get to meet people. And I really like people, so works out.
Yeah, that's true. If you don't like people, you're probably in the wrong business, because this is a people business and you got to like to help people. And there's going to be moments where you want everyone to go away because you never get a minute, but you gotta like people. Did you get some chocolates? Okay. Okay. So has everyone tried their chocolates? Tell me what is in your chocolate. What is in your chocolate? She had cherry and nuts. And what's in yours? A turtle, a nougat.
I don't know what this is, to be honest.
But is it good?
Nuts, yeah.
Is it good? Okay. Did you get? It's too early for chocolate. It's too early. You can't eat chocolate. Okay. So do you guys ever, like when I was a new agent, I kind of looked around at all the agents and thought, I can't do what she does, or I can't do what he does. And I have a different style or different personality. And like when you look up on this wall of like these are like some of our top agents, right? So chocolate is good in all its different forms and none of them are the same, right? So I just want you guys to know whatever your personalities, whatever is going to be your little niche and what is going to set you apart, it's okay. You don't like, we don't have to all do it the same. So I'll teach you kind of what I do. Hopefully there's something you can take away, but we are all different and there's so many ways to succeed in this business. So many. So I'm excited to have you guys in the room today. I love open houses. I do think that Cindy Yates should be in the room teaching this. Have you guys been to one of Cindy? Do you know who Cindy is? Does everyone know Cindy? Where's her picture on the wall? Where is Cindy? Okay. Oh gosh, where is she? Carl, where's Cindy? Yes, on the wall. Okay, you guys, if you have not been to one of Cindy's open houses, she's like, for me, I'm like, she's the queen of open house. Like she shows up with her sparkles and her feathers, and she has gold key cookies that are like shaped like keys. She's got like these books that she hands out. Like she goes above and beyond. Oh, she's right here. She's right here, our cute Cindy. But with that said, just like the chocolates, I'm like, well, I can't do it the way Cindy does it. She is amazing. My open house is a little more simple. So we'll go through what I do with mine. And what I would also like to do is just anytime that if we need to veer off, and Carl gave us permission to do this, if there's things that you're having issues in your business that are not open houses, maybe at the end, let's just veer off. Or if it's appropriate and whatever we're talking about, let's go down into the weeds of whatever is keeping you awake at night and what you really need for your business. Okay. So I like dialogue. I like lots of conversation. Okay. So open houses for me are everything. If you are brand new and you need to get your business going, open houses. If you have been in real estate for a while and you have a lull, do open houses. Like open houses are not just for buyers, they're also to get sellers. And so I am going to share one of my first open houses with you guys and how many transactions I got out of one open house. Okay. So just so you understand, like open houses can really boom your business. Like if there was anything that I needed to do, like in getting my business started, I centered around open houses. Okay. Okay. So my name is Susy Clyde, and I have been in real estate 4 full years. Prior to real estate, I worked as a client developer for a company called PSP. It was a training and development company. And the reason I got my real estate license is because I have 4 kids. And every summer, who has kids? Like every summer, the kids get out of school and all the moms that don't work are super excited because they have all these plans for the summer. But I was a working mom. And so I would cry every year on the last day of school because I knew all summer long, my kids are going to be calling me. When are you coming home? When are you coming home? And I'm stuck in an office somewhere and someone owns 40 hours of my time every single week. Right. And so real estate, I have done different things in my career. Like we've all done different things. That was just a career that I had for a few years as a training and development client developer. But I had done things previously that I had been my own boss. I really like to be my own boss. And so every summer when they would call me all summer long, I was just like, by the end of the summer, I was just like, I've got to figure out what I can do to be my own boss again. Because in my 20s, I was a Mary Kay sales director for 9 years and earned 3 cars and different diamond rings and trips and stuff like that. So I really liked that. So the one thing that also, besides the flexibility, was we're creating somebody else's empire. I think someone mentioned that. Like, why not build your own empire? Was it you? Yeah. Yeah. You're working for someone else. You're building the empire. If you are self-motivated and you don't mind work, real estate is definitely work, right? It's not for everyone. Like real estate, like if people are getting into it and they're like, I like flexibility and freedom, and I just like to look at houses, I'm like, oh, we'll see if how much you like it, because it will take over, and it is hard work, and you do need to work it like a career. It's really hard to do this part-time, at least in my experience and from what I saw. So when I got my license, I was still working at PSP, and I was trying to dabble in real estate and part-time, and I thought I could do it. And it left me exhausted because I'd work a full week, but then I was trying to run around showing houses. And then I felt like I was cheating my employer because I was like taking calls during the day, because it all bleeds together, right? And so I've been in 4 full years, but May, I don't even remember what year it was, 4.5 years ago, I was just like, I'm going to put in my notice and I'm going to make this happen. I'm doing this. It's summertime. I cannot do another summer with my kids calling me all the time. So I got started, and open houses is where I started, you guys. So I just want to talk through open houses. I would do anything to get an open house. So even if you do not personally have a listing, that is okay. You've probably seen on our Facebook page, like people like, who wants to do an open house? Or you can personally like put a note out there, like, I would love to do an open house this weekend. Does anyone have anything? Because a lot of agents, as they progress in their career, there'll be times when you're too busy to do an open house. And so there's lots of times that I don't have the time to do an open house because I have too much going on, but my clients still like an open house. I'm always good to throw an open house to any agents that want to do an open house. So I started with open houses, and then I ripped my hamstring tendon 80% off the bone. And I had my first listing coming up. So I started in kind of June. My first listing was in August, and I had to have a surgery where I had to have it reattached, and I couldn't put any weight down for 6 weeks. And I had this open house coming up. I had it reattached. I was like through my surgery, and I was just like, you know what? I am not willing to not keep moving forward just because I have this injury for 6 weeks. So I went out door knocking on crutches, like for this open house, and people would open the door, and I'm like on my crutches, and I'm handing them my little flyer out of my backpack and just saying, I've got this open house Saturday. Just want to invite you. Want to see if you know anyone that wants to live in this area. Wanted to, or if you want to pick your new neighbors, or you want to come look at your neighbor's house. And so the whole point of open houses, you guys, is so many reasons. You should all be on like 15 to 20 Facebook yard sale pages. If you aren't, go add yourself to the Saratoga Springs, to the Lehigh, to the like Pleasant Grove, like add yourself to all of the yard sale pages. And when you do an open house, you're going to post it on the Facebook yard sale pages. And that is so that you can try to get unrepresented buyers to come through your open house, because a lot of people are already going to come through with their agent, or their agent is busy and is sending them to the open house, but you want to get unrepresented buyers, right? So put it on all the Facebook yard sale pages. You can even do a boost, but not only that, because you're posting it on social media, even if it's not your listing, make sure whatever agent you're hosting it for, they don't mind. I don't think any of them mind if you go ahead and promote it on social media. All of your SOI is going to see that you've got this listing. They're going to, or this open house, they're going to assume that it's yours. Like, you want to keep having evidence of success on like your social media and with your sphere of influence. So twofold, when you put it on all those Facebook yard sale pages, sometimes people will like tag their husband or tag someone like with a question mark. Have you guys seen that? those are ones that you can message on the side and kind of follow it. Like, hey, are you in the market? Are you looking for a house? I saw that you were tagged on my upcoming open house. Like start conversations, like message them privately. Like you can follow that. Then your SOI is going to see that you're doing an open house. They're going to just assume that it's your listing. It's an evidence of success. I have a friend that just started this last year and she was like, Susie, what do I do? And I'm like, well, every weekend you need to go walk through houses, go to open houses or host an open house. Do that. And she did that for maybe 2 months. And all of a sudden her business started to bloom and thrive. And people, they were like, man, Melody's killing it. She's killing it. But all she was doing is just kept kind of popping in, showing she was doing something in real estate, right? Whether she was like, people love to see real estate, like weird things in real estate too. So if you go walk through a few homes, like do a little question and answer. I'm kind of going down social media a little bit, but that's part of what we do and with open houses and promoting it. But I get a lot of business off of just staying in front of my people through social media. I like to post stories. So I don't have a business. I do have a business page, but I don't post that much on it because I feel like in real estate, we get to mix our personal life and our business life. And I feel like they don't see it when it's on the business page. So you have to make sure you get the right mixture of your real estate versus personal, because they still want to see what you're doing and what you're up to. And if you just are only real estate, you'll probably like burn everybody and they'll like be tired of following you. But do open houses. Okay, so the other thing for open houses is you're looking for listings, right? Like you want to get your own listings if it's not your listing. So knocking doors prior to an open house is a big deal. And I've totally gone way off script, obviously. Like, how do I
use your mouse and click on that?
Got it. Okay. I should probably get back to this, but I'm just kind of jumping in of like, there's so many things that open houses are going to do for you in your business. Okay, I'm just going to go back to this. I'm going to be all over the place. And then you'll be like, okay, if she can do it, just like she said with the chocolates, and like, if she can do it, I can do it too. Okay, so open houses, and I'm going to want to hear what's working for you guys in open houses. But you want to door knock before, and really, I think if you learn anything in sales, and it has to do with when you go do listing presentations, when you're helping buyers, when you're knocking doors, when people are coming through the open house, you need to ask questions. Like that is a skill set of you're asking questions. So when you're knocking doors, you're inviting them. So you're coming with a value piece with, hey, I'm just inviting everyone to the open house that we're holding Saturday. If you want to pick your new neighbors, if you want to, or if you know anyone that wants to be in this neighborhood. And then after you hand them the flyer, just ask like, so how long have you lived here? Do you like living here? Right? You're just kind of trying to open up some conversation with some open-ended conversations. How long have you lived here? Do you like living here? What do you love the most about the neighborhood? Yeah, I've heard that from a lot of the other neighbors that I've been inviting to this, that it's a great neighborhood. It's family friendly. It's, you're just trying to have just some conversation. And then that way, when they say how long they've lived here, like, oh, well, wow, you haven't been here that long, or wow, you've been here a long time. Like, do you guys plan on staying here a lot longer? Like you're asking questions so that you can find out, like, have you ever thought about moving? And if you were to move, where would you move? Where would you go? Like, and you'll know based on, let's say you're knocking doors for a condo, you're going to get a lot of people that are going to be moving up, right? Or you're going to get people that are renters, right? So then, or a townhome. So those are great spots to even start. And then door knock for it, do your open house, and then go back after it's under contract and go knock the neighborhood again. hey, we went under contract at this price and with 5 offers. Isn't that awesome? Just wanted to give you an update on, what happened with this property. Is selling something you'd be interested. Would you be interested in me looking at your property to tell you what your property would be worth? Like, do you see? And when you come back around, this takes a lot of work, you guys. And that's why if you are new and you have the time and you're trying to get up and running, it is worth the time. It's not something that everyone likes to do. Like, raise your hand if you are okay door knocking. Nobody? Nobody loves it. I don't love it, but I was like, it is for anything else. So it is. And that I come from, the way I work my business is always out of value. I don't want to come at it of what they can do for me, or that I'm looking for listings, or I'm looking for buyers, or I just try to be that servant attitude of what can I do to help, or sharing information. Okay. So I love open houses. I do, because it's a reason to knock the neighborhood. It's a reason to go back and knock again. It's a reason once it sells and it closes, even to go back with some, you can make little door hangers of sold, but the best is talking to people, right? No, nobody likes door knock. Well, there might be a few people out there that like door knocking, but it is scary. I always have to gear up, oh, I'm doing this, right? But it has done a lot for me in my business, especially in the beginning when I was I quit my job, I'm doing this. My husband was like, I don't know if you should just quit your job. I had a really good job, and it was flexible enough. I worked East Coast and they let me work 6 to 3. So at least I was getting home at 3, right? Because I was East Coast time. I could take calls starting at 6 in the morning, but it was scary to quit my job for sure. But I was just I'm doing this, and I'm not going to take no for an answer. This is happening. And I'm glad that I did, because it's been fun creating my own business, my own empire, getting investment properties. And I think you guys will have a lot of fun in this too. Real estate can really be fun. So I am going to challenge you guys all to go do an open house. How many? Well, I'm sure you guys have done open house. Who's done an open house? Okay. Should we talk through successes from it, or things that maybe you wondered how it could go different, or what you thought of it? Do you want to talk through some of your open houses? And then you said not yet, but you're new.
I would like to learn best practices that people if there has been things that have been successful.
Okay, well, I will go through an open house. So I'm kind of moving along what we're going to do prior to the open house. We're going to post on Facebook yard sale pages, on social media, on stories. And then we'll get into open house day, but let's just kind of talk through open houses.
So I haven't done one solo. I shadowed somebody, but some of the tricks I saw him doing, I thought were genius. So one of them is you have a sign-in sheet. People
Always,
come in,
yes.
You have them sign in with their email and stuff like that. And then those kind of follow up. Kind of the other funny experience is if you speak another language, pick up on someone's accent, because I speak Russian. And so I heard some people speaking Russian. I was able to pick up on that, and that turned into a lead for my friend off of that.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so if you speak other languages, pick up on that. I want to ask you, food. Has anyone ever done free food? Did that work out at all?
Well, some people do, and some people don't. You'll see every kind of open house. I personally don't like to do food. I don't want people walking through my listing, eating food and dropping crumbs through the house, or I might put the little waters and some mints. That's what I'm going to do. But really, I'm going to have a flyer. I'm going to have a sign in on the door that says, welcome, come in and sign in. And right when they come in, they're going to sign in. And then there's water and mints, and there's my flyers. But really, I'm going to try to kind of strike up some conversation without being overbearing. Everyone's walked in RC Willie, for example, where you just feel like you're attacked over and over and again, right? So we don't want to be RC Willie when people come into our open houses, but no, what else? I think you had more to share. Did you have more on that?
Yeah, no. So like he didn't have a sign-in sheet. He had like an application that would sign in and automatically send them an email. I'm not sure what it is. I'm sure you have an application you use on your computer as well when people sign in. But I noticed that was super effective at getting people's information. And like he kind of used the excuse like, hey,
Who was it?
Tristan Danner.
Okay,
You
we
know
love
him?
Tristan. So
Yeah.
if y'all want to figure out how he's doing the application, go talk to Tristan.
So pretty awesome guy. But yeah,
Oh,
that was pretty
Tristan's
much it.
awesome.
I thought the sign-in was really cool because you're already getting their information to start nurturing a relationship. So,
Yeah, that's great. Sometimes people are hesitant, right, to give out their information just like that, especially if they're like, I just want to walk through real quick, like see if this is my sign-in's pretty simple because I'm probably more the style of like, if I'm there to walk through, I don't necessarily want to give them all my information. I just want to see the house and see if it's, so I just have people put their name, number, and do you have an agent? Yes or no? And after, like, as they come in and I talk with them, sometimes I'll make notes after they leave on the back, just so that I can remember and follow up with them. Okay, so, and we'll get into more of that in just a minute. Okay, how'd your open house go?
I've done a few open houses.
Good.
Actually, I really like doing open houses, but all of my open houses were good. I mean, I got into real estate at a good time, right?
Yeah, it's very busy.
So
on the
everything's
listings
been
right
really
now.
busy. Yeah. My first, so I actually, on the previous team that I was on, I was given open houses as we did a boot camp.
Mhm.
Adrian, and I was given the topic of open houses to kind of like study and look across and like then present. And I picked a guy in California who does like these mega open houses, and they're like mega open houses. And it's like 75% of his business that he gets from open houses. He does full on food trucks, and it's like a huge party. And so, but I took pieces from that. And when I do my open houses, I like to talk to my sellers and ask them like key points that they love about their house, features, rather it's a feature, rather it's like this cool cupboard or whatever, right? One of them loved their backsplash. They just love the backsplash in their kitchen. And so then I made that like a hot spot of the home.
Yeah.
And I put hot spot, like I just put this piece of paper that said, this is a hot spot. Check out this cool backsplash, but did these features that they pointed out in their home that came from them. And so, I don't know.
And Cindy does that. Like she puts the features, like little tags throughout the house.
It makes
That's
it nice
fun
to have like a conversation topic. If you are walking through with somebody, you know, it helps with conversation topics and
absolutely
that kind of stuff. So
yeah,
I don't know. But Peter Morkel, I think, is the who shared this.
I love Peter.
And actually it's a Ben Kinney script is what he said. But as you're meeting people at open houses, he says, I think this is brilliant. There are two kinds of people that come to our open house. One is ready to make a move right away, and those that have a house to sell. Which one are you? So that you kind of have an idea what their motivation is.
Yeah. I love that. I like to ask questions when they walk in of like, you know, how's the house hunting going? And lately it's usually like it's definitely, and so I just kind of commiserate a little bit with them, like, yeah, it's definitely a busy time, isn't it? How is it going? And then they start telling me how it's going. Well, we've made offers on, you know, several properties. And then I can ask, like, it sounds like you've got someone that you're working with. That's great. Sounds like you're being taken care of. You can just ask a few questions to really know if they are like unrepresented or represented. It doesn't take much, but just ask them, how's the house hunting going? What are you guys looking for? Like if they're willing to chat, like ask them what are you looking for? Because then if you can kind of ask a question that you know they're not represented, that's when you can be like, well, I'd be happy to help you find that. So you're looking for a 5-bedroom house in Pleasant Grove. Is there any other areas you'd consider? You know, and then it's the follow-up later. You don't want to overdo it at the open house. They're there to walk through the open house. And then when they're done walking through, like, what did you think? Right? Ask them what they thought. Well, I don't think this one's a fit, but okay, well, I'd love to help you in your search. And so then what you're going to do is you've got everyone's phone numbers. You will still follow up with everyone that signed in. To always like follow up. You cannot follow up well, you could follow up too much, but I don't think you can. Like, follow up in cells is like 9 times, and then finally you get the cell. But just checking in, maybe go home and look up a couple homes that were kind of what they said they were looking for and send them the link. What do you think of this? Like, would you want to go walk through some properties next week? That's probably the direction I go, is I check in with them on Monday. Like, hey, do you want me to show you a few homes that could be like potential? And then just go. You're not asking for that buyer broker just yet. I'm still trying to build that connection and that relationship, and it takes time sometimes. So I am just trying to build some trust. So I'll pop over and maybe show them a couple homes. And as you're walking through a home with them, because you're not going to follow them around during the open house necessarily, but if you are then showing them a couple of homes. So I wanted to tell you guys about one of my it was my second listing. I was like, I am getting this listing no matter what, even if I have to discount, whatever, because I wanted my sign in this neighborhood that I listed this home. It was in Pleasant Grove. The house had a pool. It was a good price point. I just wanted to start getting leads off of that house. And so I took the listing and I did open house, and the seller was completely unrealistic on what the house was worth. So it was like listed 100,000 more than what it should have been. So the house sat on the market for 5 months, which was very painful. But I did open house. And I even told her, like, well, I'm just going to keep doing open houses until we get this thing sold. I probably did 5 or 6 open houses on this house, but I got 9 transactions out of that one listing. And so the time frame of it being on, I'm like, oh, well, I just kept, like, people would come through, and most of the people that came through were from Facebook Marketplace. They would see it pop up on Facebook Marketplace, and they're unrepresented, and that comes through. But I mean, you get unrepresented that see that there's an open house on the MLS and Zillow and Redfin and all of that, but 9 transactions out of that. And I feel like I will actually be able to keep adding to that number because all of those clients still keep sending me referrals. But okay, who else can share about their open house? Let's talk through some more open houses, like what worked, what didn't. Anyone on Zoom want to share? No.
I did 2 open houses. Well, they were my listings, but actually Rodney did them.
Here, talking there you go.
I had 2 listings that we did in Spanish Fork, and both of them the open houses were not good. But I think it had to do with the fact that my sellers wanted to price high.
Yeah.
And so it was
people
know. And so the open house, I mean, the house is sold, obviously, but
yeah.
The open
because of this market.
Because of the market. But the open houses were not good. And I
not good as in no one came.
As no one, yeah. Yep.
I mean, I've had plenty of those too.
Yeah. But I just think that pricing it, and then I honestly don't know how well it was marketed because I wasn't essentially in charge of that.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody, I had like a TC that was doing that, and I don't know,
yeah.
Probably could have been marketed better.
Yeah.
Had I had a little more say in that process.
And let's be honest, when we're talking about market, like what to do to market it, the MLS is going to do a great job. But if you're wanting to like go the extra and try to like not only promote yourself, like that your SOI sees it and sees the open house, but I look at an open house just again is all my SOI sees that I'm out working and it's a Saturday. They know that I am working. Like this is a business for me. that I am a professional. Like, it's Saturday, y'all know what that means, like post in front of the sign, it's open house day, right? But yes, some are going to be doozies, some are going to be slow. And if it's priced too high, but that's where with your sellers, like walking them through, like if there's not showings, if there's not, like the open house is dead, we know we're it could be three things. Dean always talks about, there's three things you can change, right? You can change the price, you can change the condition of the home. Well, three things, like there's only three factors. You can't change the location. So if you can't change the location, people don't like the location, there's only, you can change the condition or the price. But if it's slow, we know that it's most likely the price for whatever the condition or location of the home is. So price is always the one that we can change. Okay. Let's we've kind of been talking about the benefits. Have I missed any benefits? Like, what other benefits would you guys say there are? We kind of have hit, like, you're looking for buyers, you're looking for sellers, you're showing evidence of success. Anything like, I mean, those are the big things, right? Anything else? Yes.
Question. So for an agent that has a listing, we have to ask them to post that like on social media? Like,
yeah, you'll just want to say, is it okay if I go ahead and promote it on social media? So his question was, do I need to ask if it's okay to promote it on? But I almost any agent is gonna, you guys are in the right place being at KW. Like, y'all know that, like, or if you don't know it, you'll know it soon enough as you get out there and you're seeing other brokerages. And KW is a brokerage of go give. Everyone can share what's working for them. There is abundance. We do not have a scarcity mentality. Whatever's working for me, if I can share with you and that will work for you, great. There's a million agents that you can pick their brains from. So yeah, I think that most any agent is going to say, absolutely promote it. I mean, it just helps them too. And you're working it and you're taking the time. Okay. Oh, the benefits of open house. Let's just go through some of the slides because it will spur some conversation. So the benefits of open houses, they're inexpensive. I do not spend a lot of money on marketing. I spend my money on events and like lots of love on my clients. Like, I do drop-bys. I send, like, when I have a closing, I set aside $100 from every closing to get $100 worth of gift cards. And a gift card goes, I want my clients to know that it wasn't a one and done transaction and I've forgotten who they are. I want them to know that, like, so at 3 months, they're going to get a gift card from me, like, just because. Then I'm going to send crumble cookies just because. So for a whole year after a closing, they keep getting gift cards. So I spend my money on loving on my clients through like that, through events. That's where I'm willing to spend my money because it's another way of me reaching out, just like the open house. Like, I'm reaching out because we've got this awesome event coming up, which I love that we do a couple of events here at KW that everyone can just pile on, because events can be expensive. Like, if you're a new agent, you're not going to go rent out the movie theater all by yourself. Or if you did, that could be scary. I mean, the whole point of events is just to have conversation with people. It's not even how many people show up, right? Me and Sid Limon just did an event on Saturday, just ice skating at Seven Peaks. And it really wasn't how many people showed up, but it's that we got to talk to everyone we know to say, you are the heart of my business. Come ice skating on me. There'll be hot chocolate and donuts. And we kind of did the total on how much, and I just paid for the wristbands there. It's not like I rented out the whole place, but open houses are inexpensive. You guys can pay a lot of money for leads if you want, but leads are usually cold and you have to warm them up anyway. So an open house is an actual person that is in the market, is coming through, and they have a pulse and they are looking at real estate. So high return on your investment and exposure. Productive way to meet buyers and sellers, qualified leads. So there is a preparation depending on how big you want your open house to be or not. There was a listing that I had really wanted to get that I thought about doing, trying the food trucks and all of that. Yeah, I mean, if that's your value add and it's going to be your thing, like pick what you get excited about in real estate and run after it. And you know, the saying, the riches are in the niches. Well, pick what your niche is. Like one of my niches is I do a lot for my listings. I stage all of my listings. I bring in cleaners, I bring in windows, like, so kind of pick, like if open houses was going to be yours, I think that would be fun to like market yourself over and over again, that people know, like when she does my open houses, it's a big deal. It's a party for the neighborhood. It would get really expensive, but it's like, you just pick what you want to be kind of your niche. Okay. I don't know how many agents pick up the phone book or just make calls anymore of like cold calls. I think there's so many better ways to and more effective than just start calling randomly. Okay, so I usually do my post for the open house. Like I do my listings on Tuesdays or Wednesdays. And then I try to do my post on Friday for the open house on the Facebook market pages, because otherwise, if they see it on Wednesday, I think they'll have forgotten about it by Saturday. Door knocking, do the door knocking on Friday as well. That way it's the next day. Signs, you can buy the open house signs over at UCAR. Like you can just go into UCAR and say, where are your signs? Do you guys have any signs like that you each personally have? Okay. Team. Okay. Who's on a team and who's not? Raise your hand high if you're on a team. Oh, you're all on a team. Is it like Shoney's team or it's on different teams? Okay. Okay. Awesome. Well, then teams usually have access to all of this stuff, and teams will have kind of their system for everything. I'm a solo agent. I had a team for a while and I just love running solo. So I think most teams will have kind of they'll have their sign in, they'll have the way they like it done, and that's fine. And that's great. So yeah, but if you need to go get signs, you want to put them out at every major intersection, like go to the property and figure it out beforehand. Figure out where you need to leave all your signs, like what makes the most sense. Like if the house, wherever it's located, which intersections do I need to hit? And then I love to have like 3 open house signs, just boom, 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 lined up in front of the house that they cannot miss it, with balloons coming up from all of them. Like they cannot miss it. And even if they're just in the neighborhood and see, oh, there's an open house on that house, should we stop by? Any tips on that has worked for you guys or hasn't worked? Right here. Townhomes are tricky and the parking can be so tricky. Yeah. So you would probably put your open house signs out on the street going in, and yeah, they're tricky. I have wandered around in townhomes looking for where it is though. So it's like having a lot of signs would be great, right? Anything else? What has and hasn't worked? Yeah. Anyone on Zoom? Okay.
Sorry, I got a question.
Yes.
Yeah, my question is that for treats, because one of the things that I did for an open house was to bring treats. But then when I was buying them, I was wondering, what if someone is allergic or, diabetic or something like that? So are there any tips on what treats to bring, besides water, or if it's a good idea or not?
Well, I think we talked for just a second about this at the very beginning, and I'm kind of boring, so I might not be the right person to ask on it, because I personally don't like to bring a bunch of treats and I just don't want there to be any distraction from what they're really there for. They're really there to see the house, right? And so if I have this whole spread of treats and then they're there at the treats and then they're walking around the house dropping crumbs, or I don't know, I really just keep little waters and a bowl full of mints because I want to keep people focused on the house. But I just like I said in the beginning, everybody can do this different and everyone can succeed differently. And that's just my preference. Did you have something to add to that, Rodney?
Okay, so I've done open houses where and I've shadowed a couple people. One of them had a lot of treats and food and cookies and that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
Another one, the agent said, I'm not here to feed people or do fancy stuff. I'm just here to meet people. She didn't do anything except for she walked through the house with each client, talked to them the whole time. And
Sign in, like, was there a sign in?
So that's the other thing. I used to do a sign-in sheet, and I have $100 gift card that I say everybody on the sign-in sheet. I've got a little bingo wheel, and I roll the wheel and choose a winner. And I used to, and I had the sign-in sheet for that. But then I changed that. Instead of having a sign-in sheet, now I have a small notebook, and I have one page per each person that comes in. So I get their name and their info. And then while I'm talking to them, once I realize whether they have an agent or not, I'll put that, whether, where they want to live, what kind of price point, how long they've been looking, whatever comes up in conversation, I add it to that page and I have a page for each one. And now I forgot why I was actually going to say something, but
we were talking about treats. You've seen both.
So I've seen them do with treats and without treats. I did a $3.2 million open house up in Midway, and for some reason he did glazed donuts. So we had all these people and kids walking through this house with glazed donuts in this $3 million house, and it was like, oh, that's probably not the best treat to have there, The other thing, one of the first things I learned when I started doing open houses, I'm never doing open houses on holiday weekends anymore. The first one I did, I was like, oh, I'm going to get all these leads. So I did a 6-hour open house.
Oh, yeah, we should talk about time frame.
And because I just thought the more open houses I do, the more clients I'm going to get. So I sat there for 6 hours, had one old couple come in,
man.
like the last 30 minutes of the open house. And I said something to them, how's your weekend? They're like, oh, it's okay. We're just in town for Easter or whatever.
Yeah, we're not even in the housing market, but we thought it would be fun to walk through a home.
And then I realized that everybody was out of town because it was a holiday weekend.
Which holiday?
I don't remember if it was Easter or Memorial Day or something, just one of those 3-day weekends or something where everybody takes off for the weekend. And I was like, okay, I'm not doing any more of these holidays where everybody's gone all weekend.
Yeah. I'll still list a home in, like, when it's a holiday is about to hit, because I'm like, oh yeah, they're all sitting at home eating pie and whatever, like Thanksgiving. And they're all like, if somebody's in the market, they have time, like, because it's a holiday, they have time. They're looking online through properties, but it can be tricky. I've done them over holidays. Some have worked, some have not. I think 3 hours is a max, and it's really for yourself. I put 2 hours. I do 2 hours because then you're still there past. I mean, if you've done open houses, everybody shows up right at the end, right when you're like, okay, we're done. And boom, all of a sudden a bunch of people start coming. So if you put 2 hours, you're still going to be there, maybe 3. I'd rather get everyone there on a tighter time frame and have it look busy too. Right? Oh, bless you.
So how do you feel about, like, one of the open houses we did in Spanish Fork? There was one agent did 2 hours, and then another agent did the next 2 hours, and another agent did the next 2 hours. And I think we had 2 people, the people up in Spanish Fork, the 675.
Was it successful? Like, did everyone feel like they got leads out of it?
There was only like 5 people that showed up the whole day.
Yeah,
and it was like one for the first 2 hours, one for the second 2 hours, or 2, and then 2 the next 2 hours. So
I would rather see everyone put the fillers out of who has an open house that I can do, and everyone grabs their own listing that Saturday.
That was going to be my question. If I talk to Jade or Caden and he's got an open house coming, and he says, well, Adrian's going to do it from 11 to 1. I probably shouldn't say, well, I'll do 1 to 3. Because
No, I would just
then-
go find another
because
house.
then people see there's an 11 to 3 open house. They may not even come to Adrian's
Mhm.
because they know that there's one in the evening. And like you said, everybody shows up toward the end of the open house.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
Okay.
I would say just everybody grab a house. There's lots of agents that don't have time to do open houses, but are happy for someone else to do it, right? Like if you're looking to get leads, like I always want to share like my listings and my open houses and let somebody do it to go get leads, right? I had a thought on open was while you were talking, but now I don't know where it went. It will come back to me. Okay, anything else? Did that help answer your question about food and treats? It's really up to you, but I don't think it's a have to. I don't think we have to
Yes.
have I don't think we have to have treats and a spread. You know?
It had definitely helped me. I'm just working and doing other stuff here, so I missed it. But thank you so much. You just gave me an idea because I'm never buying food. It was, I spent this, and some people didn't like it. I'm gonna stick with the mints and the water for the future.
And it's another expense for you. And we all know, like when you're trying to get your business going and get consistency, the problem with real estate is it's such a pipeline business to get consistency going that you might have a closing or two, and then you might have a break for a month or two before you have another closing. And so it's, to me, I just look at it as it's another expense that it's not a have to.
I did one where we actually did like a flow. So we like entered in the front and then exited out.
Here, talk in the, here it is. She's talking about the having flow to the open house.
So they like entered through the front door and exited through the back door. And it was busy. So, I mean, my husband's an agent as well. So we
awesome.
worked it together.
Yeah.
But as they walked out the door, they got like a bag of popcorn that said, "Thanks for popping by."
Yeah. See, and,
And then
that's
we could
cute
use
and probably
that
simple.
for all of our, until they were gone,
Yeah.
So none of it was wasted. It was just something simple. They didn't open it when they were in the house because it was when they exited,
Yes.
and just simple.
Well, and that's the other thing is there's nothing worse than you buy a whole spread of like cookies and all these things, and it's a slow open house, and then you have all of that to take home, and you're like, all right, every weekend I'm eating cookies and donuts and gaining 5 to 10 pounds because of my open houses. Right. Okay. I was going to say about open houses, make sure you prep your seller not to leave. This is like a given, but don't leave any valuables. Don't leave medicine in the home. And if you see anyone come into your open house and they see, like, I don't follow them all around because I just kind of stay available to talk to them, but I want to still be there when people are coming in. If it's a big house, maybe I will have another agent do it with me so that there's 2 of us to kind of be there. But I had one recently, this was just in the last few months, where there was a lady that came right at the end, and I just felt uneasy about her. She came right at the end, and it was $1 million listing. And this sounds judgy, but she was just so unkept, and she seemed like she was there looking for like medicine, like opioids and different stuff. So you have to make sure that your sellers don't leave any medications or jewelry or valuables out. And if you do see someone come into your open house that seems a little sketchy, then I'm going to follow. And I followed her, and she went right to the master bathroom, and she stayed right in the master bathroom and was looking in like the linen closet and kind of opening things like that, that I just stood there and was just kind of like, so how's your home search? Like the same questions, but I was just like, I'm going to just follow this lady. And I could tell she was irritated that I was like on her, but I can almost put money on it. I know what she was looking for. No one goes right to a master linen closet and underneath their sinks and all of their starts looking through their stuff. So keep your eyes out for that, because that can happen, right? I don't think there's any like perfect time of day. 11 to 1, 1 to 3, like do whatever works best for you. Even during the week, like sometimes you can have successful open houses from 5 to 7 during the week. So it's just pick your times, promote it, post it, and just go for it, right? All right, who in here has done during the week? Rodney, and how's it gone? Like date night?
There didn't seem to be a difference.
Yeah.
between The weekends and the weekdays.
No, and right now the buyers are out, right? Buyers are out. If they see a property that they want to get into, it doesn't matter. They'll make it work.
The house I sold in West Valley, I did on a Thursday. We listed it.
Listed on a
We listed it
Thursday.
Wednesday night, I did the open house Thursday, sold it Friday, and I had 27 people come through the open house.
So he said 27 people come through his open house. Listed on a Wednesday, open house Thursday, Friday, it was under contract.
It wasn't under contract for that weekend, but yeah, we stopped the open. I was going to do a 2-day open house. I said, okay, we've
Yeah.
already got 9 offers, and we had 63 people come through in 72 hours.
One thing that's been hard with open houses, if you list on like a Tuesday or Wednesday, and then you already have a bazillion showings and you're trying to make it to Saturday, but you already have a lot of offers, it is one of those calls of like, are we still doing the open house? We already have 10 good offers and my sellers are tired, they're done. So it's tricky, and you'll have agents reaching out saying, are you for sure doing the open house? I never want to like box myself in, because what if my seller really is like, no, we're done. I was out with a buyer and we were out seeing properties one Saturday, and I had planned in an open house that we were going to go to in American Fork. We went, there's no signs, there's no like, so I'm like, I don't think there's an open house. Went and knocked on the door, it's silent and it's dark inside. So I was like, I don't think that I bet this house is already gone. So I called the agent. He said that he had 30 offers and he had over 100 showings in like 2 to 3 days. Like it just was crazy. And he had so many agents that were ticked off at him about not doing the open house. But I'm like, one was like, I'm going to report you. And I'm just like, we've all been there where you like, because of the market and the way it is right now, a lot of properties aren't making it to the open house. And so if we're counting on it and we have a buyer that really wants to see it, probably don't wait for the open house, still go show it to them and get the offer in, right?
Ultimately, like, I'm thinking from like just a newer agent standpoint, like, I'm not looking to do the open house to sell it.
Right. Open houses don't really sell the property.
So I get it if your sellers are like, no, we're burned out, we don't want to do an open house. Respect it.
Yeah.
Right? Respect their
Yeah.
wishes. But if it's just because you're like, oh, I just don't want to do an open house because we've been so busy, like,
Yeah. No.
let someone else do it for you.
Yes, I think
please,
I
when you
agree.
do your open house, don't close it down just because you have so many offers, because
Well, but the tricky part is, here's the part where you have to decide is if it already goes under contract and you're sitting there doing an open house and people are like, when are offers due by? And you're like, well, it's already under contract.
yeah, that's different. But I'm just saying, like,
Yeah.
they're like,
If they're just tired.
yeah.
I think it's more overwhelming right now than ever before. Like when you have to weed through that, when you get that many offers on a property, it's almost time to just shut it down and go through them, because they're all going to be similar with a few rising to the top. Whichever one throws out the appraisal contingency, the due diligence, is doing a gap and overprice, right? And if fast is closed, like it's almost always going to come down to all the things, right? But yeah, open houses are tricky right now, depending on what day the house is listed. So where it's almost like, okay, let's list on a Wednesday or Thursday, maybe push it back into the week, depending on the price point, right? If it's in the 300s, 400s, 500s, 600s, like it's going to be very busy. Okay. We talked about door knocking, but should we talk any more about it? Everyone's super stoked and excited to go door knocking.
If you door knock around a house that you've got listed, do you do everything within a quarter mile, or do you just do the closest 50? Or
I probably do 50. It'll take you a couple hours to get through that area. So I just start right around the house and just go right around the house. If it's not your listing, just find out what the seller's last name is so that, hey, we're doing an open house on the Johnson's house right next door, you know, make it personal. Everybody knows the Johnsons or, you know, but okay, door knocking. I think we all should go do some door knocking. You know what, you can also, if let's say you don't have an open house and you've put it out there and there's no one that has an open house for you, door knocking can still be advantageous. Of pick a location somewhere that you want to door knock and find out a home that just closed in that neighborhood that week. And so you can go around door knocking and you can say, hey, I'm just out here in the neighborhood. This property just down the road just sold for this amount of dollars in this many days. Just wanted to, you know, check in with all the neighbors, see if there's anyone else. There's still buyers in this area looking for homes because there's buyers everywhere, right? But that verbiage, even just like the way that you're talking, like they might assume that it was your listing or not. It doesn't really matter because you're just bringing some numbers and some information. Like people always want to know what homes sell for in their neighborhood, right? Like, do we not always want to know, like, oh my gosh, what they get? Like we're agents and we still want to know, like, what are the neighborhoods or what are the houses in our neighborhood going for, right? Door knocking, it really can be advantageous. Okay, so I'm really bad at this, but I do know like Ben Kinney and a lot of agents, they collect the emails so that they can add all of the people that come through an open house into a campaign. That is something you can do. I feel like if they have an agent, I don't want to put them in there, and only put them in there if you're actually going to like run a campaign or follow up, like, and stay on them, right? But for me in my business, I just have felt like I did start with some cold leads when I started, and I paid for some cold leads, and those were the hardest clients like to win over, to work with, and they were like the lowest price point, barely could afford anything, bad credit. And so I feel like once I was like, no, I'm all in on like SOI and the people I know, and trying to just build my business from there. I feel like it was such a better quality of who I was working with. But if you're new to the area and you don't know a lot of people, you got to start somewhere. That's where open houses. Okay, so we greet everyone, have them sign in, ask questions. You can, even with your question, like, what's your time frame? Like, it looks like you're out shopping for a home. What's your time frame to get into a home, right? Capture the lead. Neighborhood landing. I mean, there's all sorts of nifty stuff. I should get into the tech stuff, but like those chocolates, everyone can figure out what works for them. And maybe at some point that will need to work for me. Never turn your back on a prospect. Like if you're walking down the stairs in front of them, like there are safety things in real estate, right? That can be a little bit scary, like meeting somebody to show them your listing and you've never met that person and they called off your sign, or that you're showing properties to somebody that you've never met that reached out to you. Like, be careful. Let someone know where you are, when you'll be done, charge your cell phone. I've thought that thought a few times. Like, there was this gentleman that he got my name off the sign and then he wanted to see a different property, and we were in a vacant home. And I was a new agent and I was walking down the stairs into this basement and he's right behind me, and I didn't tell anyone where I was. And I was like, I have really put myself in a situation here. Obviously nothing happened, but it was a thought. And I was like, this is so dumb. I'm in a vacant home. Okay. I mean, this is just follow up, convert. Like, it's all about staying on people. I don't care if they say they're looking to buy in a year, or Peter always says, whatever time frame they say chop it in half. So if they're like, oh yeah, we want to move in like 6 months. Okay, well, in 3, you better stay on them and follow up, because anything's going to happen. They might see something and also pull the trigger and you weren't there, or you hadn't developed that relationship. Best practices. Can you guys think of anything else that we haven't added on best practices for open houses? Do you guys, when you think about doing an open house, is it like, oh, it's just one more thing? Or is it like, no, this is something that can build my business? Building business, yeah. And you never know what you're gonna get. Like it might be a dud, it might be busy, but it's worth just being consistent. I totally will look at it even just of, if nobody comes, I'm still gonna post, like I'm gonna do a little video, or I'm gonna like just do a couple pictures and I'm gonna post it on my story. And absolutely. And right there, I'm already like, mission accomplished. Boom, out there on social media. You guys, on social media, you can pick like your inner circle of who you want to do business with, who you're working with, like 200. And just, if you're always commenting on their things, and just, they'll start to see all of your stuff. So like you can kind of pick your inner circle. One thing that I do on my Instagram is like, and I have recommended before in Ignite classes, is change your name and make it something with real estate. Like mine is Susy Sells Homes. So every time I comment on anyone, anytime I like anything, it shows Susy Sells Homes, like commented this, Susy. So like it doesn't have to be, it could even be Rodney, your Utah realtor. Is that what yours is? See, who has done that on your Insta? What's yours? See, I love it. Okay, I don't know if they could hear. Okay, so it's Rodney, the realtor, Downs. Okay, and then Amy E, real estate. REI. You're gonna go change it. Like we're gonna all have like, and so we are gonna comment our little hearts out. Social media is cheap, and you get a good return on investment of awareness. No, just Instagram. What is yours? Lyric Real Estate. See, good. But you're going to. You are. What's yours? Like if you're like, no, I'm doing real estate and like I'm making this happen and I'm like, change it. Like you're in it to win it. And the longer you stick with real estate, like don't quit, right? Like don't quit if the first year isn't the way that you want to. If you stick with it and people know, like, and you keep creating awareness, you'll find it. Yep. Okay, I love that some of you have already done that, because I think that is huge. And then you just comment away at like, okay, host a speaker, offer a gift, get the house in showing shape. Definitely make sure the house you show up early to your open house, especially if it's not your listing. Be prepared, maybe have some Clorox wipes, maybe have a broom, like, or if it's vacant, like I have showed up to some of my own listings in the very beginning where I thought that it was a given that my seller would leave it clean. And it was so like, I was like vacuuming, I was sweeping, I was wiping things down, I was air freshener. So I keep a little box of like air freshener and wipes and Windex. And so just, I just think you always have to be a little bit early to your open houses just in case, because you never know what you're going to get. Oops. Oh, what did I do? Carl, what did I do? Well, I bumped this. Where do I need to go back to? Okay, well, that's where we were. Thank you. Okay. All right, go live. Oh yeah, you can do live open houses. I haven't done that. I think it's a good idea to do. Okay, best house practices. We already talked about welcoming visitors at the door, get the house in showing shape, think safety first, don't leave valuables, don't have messy meals or snacks, don't make assumptions. Boom, we covered that. Boom, we covered that too. Measuring tape. Who carries a measuring tape with them? That's a good idea, especially when you're showing houses. For a while, I had the app on my phone that you could, it's just a pain, like when you're out with buyers. Trash bags, tissues. Yeah, love it. Follow up. Here we are. It's all in the follow up. I wouldn't have closed 9 transactions off that off that one listing worth of open houses if I didn't build rapport, build rapport, build rapport, right? Like one of the families that came through that open house wanted to be in that specific neighborhood. And I knew there wasn't any other listings in the neighborhood, but they didn't have like a time frame that it had to happen, but they were like, we're only going to move if we live in this neighborhood. So I would knock doors. I have a buyer that's looking for a home in this neighborhood specific. Have you ever considered selling? And I kept my ear to the ground on that neighborhood. And then I heard that there was a gentleman that was going to, his wife had passed away and he was going to sell his house. And I swooped in before they even listed it. He did already have his agent, like he had signed on with his agent with the ERS, but we swooped in, we got under contract. Then I listed their house. Then the guy that came to their open house, I helped him sell his townhome. Then I sold his mom's house. Then he gave me a lead that then I, like from his work, that then I helped them with 3 properties. And now they've given me a referral that I'm closing on one this week. This is 4 years ago that open house was. And now we're closing this week on a listing and they want to divide that into 2 to 3 properties as a 1031. So it will go from 9 to probably to 12. And it was all off of, but I door knocked in the area even just to find them because it was specific to that neighborhood. Okay, what else we got? I feel like open houses are a no-brainer. Okay, what time are we at? Are we? Okay, all right. Should we talk through anything in your business that is keeping you up at night or what you're having problems with or what you want for your business? Do you guys?
I've got an open house question.
Sure.
So I was just wondering, like, what kind of preparation do you do beforehand? Like, what kind of stuff is really important to know about the home and its condition and other things? Like what are some common questions that you get from the people who are walking through?
Yes. So are you talking about like if it wasn't your listing is when you wouldn't know that information, right?
Right.
Yeah, I would definitely talk to the listing agent and find out anything that you can about the listing. Like just talk to the agent, like what can you tell me about the home so that if people have questions, I will know the answers. Because there's nothing worse than being at an open house and they're asking you questions and you're like, I don't know, but I can find out. But at the same time, when you're like, I don't know. Like, so you'll definitely want to look through the listing, look at call the listing agent, talk to them about some questions that you might get, like how old is the roof? How old is the HVAC? How old is the water heater? I mean, water heater, HVAC, you can go look and see what the date it was, but ask the listing agent to have the seller say what their favorite thing about the house is, what their favorite thing about the neighborhood is. I mean, if you read the description of the house, I'm sure it will go through some of that you can highlight. But I just think you can't go wrong talking to the listing agent to find out what you need to know. Plus, people, as they come through the open house, are going to want to know what is important to the seller. Like if they were to write an offer, what's important. So you'll want to know what you can share with people at the open house. Like, oh yeah, they are moving out of state, they're relocating, but they won't be moving for 3 months. So they'd like to do a lease back, right? That's kind of important things to be able to share at an open house. What else? Anything you guys would add to that?
What are they looking for in their offer?
What are they
age of
looking?
Stuff like
Yep, the age of stuff. What are they
Are there
looking
any
for?
other Tendencies that the seller.
Yes, any contingencies, like I had one, a townhome that I just sold, and they finished their basement. And when they finished their basement, they had already taken a couch down in, and now like the couch could never come out. So we are like, the couch comes with the house. Like if you don't want the couch, it's coming with the house, and you'll have to saw it in half to get it out of that basement, right? Like little things, or like if they're willing to sell some of the furniture, like furniture is negotiable, or like what's excluded. You'll want to know what's excluded, like the washer and dryer, the fridge, like they keeping the family trampoline, keeping the who knows what, like people keep all sorts of things. Like the bench out front is like a family like specialty bench. Like you want to know those kind of things.
I also have a printout that shows how many stores are nearby, where the schools are, what the name of the schools are.
You do that? Okay, grab the mic, and so that everybody online can hear that. Because I don't do that, but that sounds very
So
helpful.
I also go to listreports.com.
Okay,
You can put in the home address there. It'll bring everything up from the MLS. It'll let you print the picture. It'll say, we found 46 pictures for this
Mhm.
address. You pick a main picture, a bedroom picture, a bathroom picture, and you can add more. And then it prints out all kinds of different prints, postcards or flyers or open house flyers or whatever you want, that has information on the house, the size, bedroom, bathroom, that kind of stuff. How many stores are nearby, how far away they are, what the school districts are, what the name of the schools
yeah,
are.
I
There's all
love
kinds of
that.
stuff that, matter of fact, Mariah, she did an open house Saturday, so I printed one out for her and she came by and picked it up. And it's usually just a little two-piece sheet that I have at the
Mhm.
open house, and the little plastic
In a
stands.
sleeve or in a
Yeah,
on a
those
stand.
little stands, and one just says, the price, bedroom, bath, that kind of stuff. The other one is what's in the neighborhood, how far it is from everything. And
Yeah, no, I love that. I think you always should have a handout, like no matter what, because the reality is if they're unrepresented, that handout has your name and number so that you can be like, and my name's Susie, this is my number, call me if you have any questions. But it also just has the house details. Like here it is, here's how many bedrooms, here's how many square feet.
Yeah.
But I love that.
And I do the MLS
Yeah.
client listing
Yeah.
sheet also, but
Yeah.
What was that website called again?
listreports.com.
Listreports.com.
So it's free for all agents. You just sign up. If you team up with a mortgage broker, then you get a little bit extra features, which is mostly just change the color on your, but it's all branded to you. And if you're teamed up with a mortgage agent, then they pay $150 a month for this. And then it has your branding and their branding on it.
We didn't talk about this, but I have done open houses with like having a lender there. So if you want to team up with a lender, that way, if someone is like new to starting to look at houses and they're not pre-qualified, you can have the lender talk through like what are good options for them. And, lenders that are hungry for it and need more leads and more business, they'll do open houses with agents. So that could be another value add if you want to. Has anyone done that? Yeah. Just make sure you like the lender so that if you're hanging out with them for a couple hours and that you don't mind like working more with them, right? It seems like everyone find your tribe. You find your tribe of who you like to work with as your preferred lender. Of course, your people can, if they already know someone, they can pick whoever they want, but someone that is always going to have your best interest and get the job done. Pick your title, that's your tribe, that how it's going to work. It's just nice to do you already have a title that you'd like to work through, or would you like to use mine? Right? Was that helpful on the question about details about the listing?
Yes, very helpful. Thank you so much.
All right, perfect. Ahas or in the weeds of, is there any, what are you guys worried about or trying to do right now? What is getting you in your business? Rodney needs to find clients. Oh no, potential buyers can't get approved. Rising interest rates is going to change what people qualify for. On the page? Okay, she said she's, Amy's having a hard time getting agents to let her do open houses. Yeah.
And like they hit on Monday, and if they didn't have an open house, I should have called them, but messaged the agents and like ask for them, not within 4 weeks.
Is it like, is it just silent when you put it out there? Like no one has, everybody has open houses.
No, it was silent.
Huh.
Well, I've only done it 2 weeks.
Okay. I would just put it every single week. I'm looking to do an open house every single week. Or who can I come and shadow? Yes. Okay, he noticed no one's posted that they're doing an open house the last month. We have a low inventory right now. Like it's a problem. Like I had no idea because you go in kind of like your business, you'll be super busy and then maybe you're not, but like I had all these listings, they went under contract, and then I've been busy working with buyers. So I don't know, the inventory has gotten really low and tight, but I always just figure just keep working, but keep posting. Maybe it's just because January was low, like hardly any listings happening, but we're revving up. We're headed into the spring. That is true. So she said you can think outside the box and go to other agents that are outside of Keller Williams. What's that? Yeah, it's fine. I had a girl come knocking doors through my neighborhood. I don't remember which brokerage she was at, but I did keep her information and I let her do an open house. She was knocking doors and I was just like, good for her. Like she's hungry for it. Not everyone's willing to go out and make it happen. And she's hungry for it. And she has stayed in touch with me and even reached out to me a few weeks ago. Like, do you have any open houses? And I was going to have her do one that it didn't make it to the weekend. And I felt bad. I'll reach out to her. Like if there's no one else that wants to do them. I will say, let me just preface this on, if you're going to do an open house for another agent, make sure you represent well. Because I did let a newer agent, it's probably been 2 years ago, do an open house for me. And she showed up and was just kind of dressed in like sweatpants and just kind of sat at the door. And she wasn't like professional. And I didn't really know her, but she was the first to respond on the page. And my sellers had to stop by and they were very upset. Like they were like, the girl that you had doing the open house, she wasn't talking to the people, but she was sweating all over and she was just, and I was so embarrassed. I was embarrassed. So dress professional, be professional, be personable, and otherwise you will ruin it for yourself and even future. Everyone in this room, we don't have a problem, but it could be a thing, right?
Make sure you close up.
Oh yeah. Make sure you lock up, close up. Like that's a thing. Like even with listings, every once in a while, like you'll have agents that show your listing and they don't lock up and then sellers are super upset because their house is left unlocked. All the things. There's so many fun things in real estate, right? Yes. Door wide open. Here, I should.
Can you guys hear me?
There you go.
So I showed up to a showing last week and the person who had come before me left the door fully unlocked and they broke the super key. So they put the key in wrong, jammed it up the super key to where it would not come out at all. And it was completely like non-functional at that point. So I show up and I'm like trying to open the super key and I'm thinking, oh, did I do something wrong? And then I realized the entire door is fully opened. All the lights are left on.
Oh,
There's
man.
running water going.
Oh, man.
And so I contacted the person I was doing the showing for. I'm like, hey, you should probably let the listing agent know that it wasn't me who did all this.
For
So yeah.
too, like when you see things like that.
Lock doors and turn lights off,
Lock doors. Okay, turning the lights on or off.
depending on how it is,
I
you know.
don't turn them off if they're already on when I
Right.
get in, just in case there's more showings that are going to happen. And if the seller purposely left them all on, I leave them on, but
Leave it how you found it.
yes, leave it how you found it. Hi, Becca. Welcome, Becca. Okay, what else is like top of mind on your businesses right now? Finding clients. You'll find them at open houses and door knocking and doing all that. What was, Becca, do you let other agents do your listings, like do open houses on your listings? See, I do, Becca does, I bet Carl does, Shoni, of course. Like they just said that they've tried to get open houses and no one's responding, but I think it's because we have a low inventory.
Okay, so with my listings, I launch them on Wednesday and they're usually under contract before Saturday. So I'm
Yes.
happy to do it, but I want to know someone's committing before I launch it on
Yes.
MLS. So really you need to talk to me and say, do you have any listings coming up? I would love to do it Thursday. Really is your only opportunity.
And that's where don't do Saturday ones, like offer to do a Thursday night, 5 to 7, a date night, right? Because that is a problem. We talked about how things are not making it to Saturday. So maybe rethink through, like, instead of saying, I want to do an open house for someone this Saturday, hey, I want to do a date night open house for someone Thursday night. What listing just hit? Right. Okay, what else? What else is keeping you awake or top of mind in your business? Buyers. And in that one, in the back, like if you have buyers that are not qualified, probably keep moving along, keep them in your love and like giving them attention, but you gotta keep working through that pipeline. And and they want to go see houses. Have you already been showing them houses? Yeah, that's one of those things that you learn really quick as a new agent of, if they don't have a pre-qual letter, you might be wasting your time. And if you're already out there showing them houses and they aren't pre-qualified.
Point out though, that it needs to be within the last 2 weeks to 4 months or to a month.
Yeah.
Because the interest rates are changing so fast that they might not be.
Here, talking where'd the mic? Yes, because that's a thing right now with rising interest rates.
Yes, rising interest rates. So somebody that might be pre-qualified today will not be able to qualify in a month for the same amount.
Yeah.
That's happened to us personally, that we had a pre-qualification letter and then we went to make an offer and we couldn't do it.
Oh, that's painful. Yeah, absolutely.
This is a little off topic, but what stage of like the buyer process do you get your BBA signed? Is it after they've been pre-approved with your loan officer? Is it before you show them homes? That's what I'm kind of struggling with, is when do I make the awkward, like, hey, can you sign this for me kind of thing?
Well, it doesn't have to be awkward. And you do want to get it as soon as possible. And you don't want to be out just doing all this work for them, showing them houses, and you don't have it. I did go to a UCAR training once that they said in the state of Utah, it is required if they're going to be walking through houses, that it's required that they have a buyer broker agreement. But regardless of that, so you can put it off on, I would go, and Becca will have something to add to this too, I'm sure, but you need to sit down with them, find out what they want, find out all the details about your buyer. And at that point, I just always just say, if you feel comfortable with me, then let's go ahead and get this signed. Before we can go walking through houses, it's required by my broker and by the state of Utah. Put it off on Dean, put it off on your broker, put it off on the state of Utah. And I usually let my buyers know, and if I'm not a fit for you, you can fire me. Like, this isn't you're signing away your life. I tell them I've never been fired, but you can fire me if I'm not available to you when you need me and I'm not doing what you need me to do, then you should fire me and find somebody else that's going to be there for you. Because in this market, buyers need to be able to like go get into a property ASAP and get their offers in. But so you'll figure it out what works for you. But I really, Becca, you would add to this, like you're not going to go out showing tons of houses to somebody that isn't in a buyer broker agreement with you, because you might get burned. Right? Did you have something to add to that?
So my very first client was a couple from Sri Lanka who've been here for like 5 years. They wanted to look at $650,000 houses. So every week I was driving up to North Salt Lake to show them these houses. Have you got pre-qualified? And I was sending them to our lender to get pre-qualified. And they're like, oh no, we're going to do it next Wednesday. And then I'd go show them a house next week. And I was like, how'd the pre-qual go? And they're, we're going to do it next Wednesday. You know, it was always, they were going to do it the next week. So after like the fifth house, which was a $690,000 house, I sat down, I said, so what do you guys, have you got pre-qualified? No, we're going to do it Tuesday. We're going to talk to the guy Tuesday. I said, all right, so what's your financial situation? You know, these, just so you know, these payments are going to be, how much do you have down? You know, that sort of stuff. We got 20,000 down. And I said, well, that's going to make your payments like $3,400 a month. And he's like, that's okay. I make $13 an hour or $14 an hour. My wife makes $13 an hour. My son makes $13 an hour, and his girlfriend makes $13 an hour. So we're
all
okay.
gonna put it in the pot and
And I said, okay, that
it
doesn't work that way, you know. And they're like, nope, his girlfriend's going to live with him, so she'll pay. I said, yeah, the mortgage brokers don't care about that, the banks and stuff. So I said, so that was when I said, until you get pre-qualified, or once you get pre-qualified, I'll show you more houses. Until then, I can't. You know, I've spent 5 weekends and $200
you were
in
more than
gas doing all
generous.
this
And
stuff.
I really think in real estate, you start to learn how you're there to guide your clients, your sellers, your buyers. You need to lead. You need to, and you can do it in a way with, I think sometimes as a new agent, you feel like scared to be like, sign this, but a couple things, my mind kind of goes to a couple of things. Like as a listing agent, if my seller gets the house perfect and clean and leaves the house for a showing of someone that's coming through that isn't even qualified, it's a waste of their time. So you can put it off on this, that the sellers out there are requiring that only pre-qualified people come to see their home, right? Like
Right.
You can chalk it up to that. Just like you can say your broker doesn't allow you to show homes with that, you can chalk it up to the sellers require someone to have a pre-qual letter before they come through.
Right. So I had another one.
That sounds
it was
painful.
an older couple, and I met them up so they wanted to see 6 houses. So I planned the whole day. You know, this is the route we're going to take and everything. And I met them up in Sandy, I think it was. And there was a showing going on when we got there. So we were waiting for them to leave. And as we were sitting there, I had my BBA, because I had said, from now on, until they sign a BBA, I'm not
We need
taking them through a house
to
because of
fill this
legal
out.
ramifications. So I said, okay, you know, I'm happy to show you through these houses. Here's my buyer broker agreement. And they're like, oh, no, we have an agent already. And I said, so you called me to look at 6 houses this weekend, but you already have an agent? And they said, well, he's in Europe for 3 months. So we just figured you could show us houses for the next couple of months. And then when he gets back, we'll just go through him. And so I had a long conversation about how that doesn't work that way. And
I think
they were really understanding. They just had no idea how the whole thing worked. They just thought, that's what you guys do. So
people
what's the
don't
big deal?
understand how it all works. That's why we are here to like guide them, teach them, educate, and that's why I think if you schedule a time to sit down and just schedule one of our conference rooms and meet your buyers before going out looking at houses is probably the best practice. What do you want to add to that, Becca? I know it's so painful.
No, they They were already signed with another
They already have
agent.
a
And I explained to him, I said, well, I can't,
represent you.
you know, that's me stealing you away from another agent. I said, I'll show you this house where we're at right now, but I'm not showing you anymore.
Well, and you can't represent them.
and,
You can't put in offers in their behalf. And
Right.
quite honestly, it's a waste.
And they
of
were just like, well, he'll be back
your
in 2 months. And we just figured you guys would work that out between you. And I said, yeah, that doesn't really work that way.
We're talking about buyer broker agreements and when to get them and showing houses to people. And then you don't have a buyer broker and they burn you. Waste your time. Still do it all the time. Well,
The way we describe it is you have to make that decision. The legal answer is in your BBA before you tour houses.
yes.
You've got to be protected and have that. Obviously, my mom wants to see houses.
If Toby wants to see houses,
That one, yes.
yes. Toby is his,
Oh, you can't
what
say
would she
it, so
be?
I'm about to say no.
Mother-in-law. She'll cut you out. Are we, it's 12:45, but we still have 15 minutes. If there's anything you guys want to still keep going down, like it doesn't matter if it's not open house related, like whatever is important to you is what we need to discuss. Or if you don't have anything else, thank you for attending. Hopefully you found something that was helpful. Should we go through and just do some quick ahas? Like something that you heard today that whether it was from me or somebody else shared, like something that you're going to go implement. Rodney, go. Life is like a box of chocolates. That's what you learned. Like, go do it. Yep. Go make it happen. Mm-hmm.
My plan was to build my business on open houses.
Yeah. And I say,
So-
keep going. Even if there's low inventory right now, keep going. Some of the agents that survived 2008, 2009, and Gary Keller talks about all the time, like, just keep going and it will pivot upward. Okay. Over here, Kaden. We'll just pass the mic around and then everyone on Zoom, if you can share your aha.
Awesome. So I guess I didn't realize how powerful they can be in the business. And so, yeah, I guess just reaching out to people in whatever way that I need to in order to be able to have a couple open houses just so others can see, that business is going. And then I can get meet a bunch of people and get some leads from that. So I'm just going to be probably reaching out to people both in the here and then also maybe other agents. We can get some stuff going.
And you know what, if you can't find an open house to do, you guys go walk through an open house. Go walk through a couple open houses, even if you don't have any if you don't have buyers, go do some open houses and post it.
I think for me, it's the same thing that he said, like it's a good place to start. And then those are potential clients that are already seeking, like you already know that they're there for houses. So that's already
They have a
plus.
pulse.
Yeah. So yeah.
Okay, great.
So I got a question real quick. So let's say I didn't have anything to do Saturday and I decided, you know what, I'm just going to go walk through a bunch of different open houses and see how they're doing. What's the best way to find out where those are all at? Since they're not being posted so much on our Facebook page anymore.
Yeah, you can just search on the MLS. The MLS is as clunky as it kind of is. It's really not as clunky as St. George's MLS. Like their MLS sucks. Like at least we have all sorts of search capabilities and you just learn how to do the different searches. Okay, right over here. Ahas, or just anything that you're like, okay, I'm gonna go implement that.
I haven't done a weekday.
Yeah, go
open
try
house,
a date
so
night.
I'm gonna try that because
Yeah, I've done both. Like they can be great, especially if it's not going to make it to Saturday.
Heck
Okay.
yeah, I am. I am. I'm gonna get my open house supplies together so that I'm ready
With
to
some
go.
Clorox wipes
Yep.
and some cleaning
Febreze,
stuff
window
just in
cloth,
case. Yes,
pens.
little spray. You can pass those back around. I'm not taking that whole box home, so.
Can you hear me? Okay. My aha is like, I didn't know you could do open houses for other agents in different brokerages. So that opens up a lot of opportunity in my mind, because I've just been scouring through our Facebook and I never see open house opportunities anymore. So if I can reach out to other agents, that changes a lot of things.
I would still try to start here. Like I really would, because you know our agents and we have that like KW bond and like everyone wants to help. Like maybe go talk to a couple and introduce yourself. Maybe just posting on Facebook isn't working because you need to like introduce yourself and say, I want to do an open house. Peter Morkel, Susy, Clyde, Cindy Yates. Go shadow Cindy, the queen of open houses. Go, Becca is open. Like maybe go introduce yourself to different agents that are in the office or on Tuesday at team meeting. Okay, online on Zoom. Do we have anyone still on Zoom?
Yep.
Okay, any ahas? Anything that you want to implement in your business?
I really like the listing reports website to get prepared. That's going to be really great.
Yeah, that is a good one. Rodney says if you have any questions as you're doing it, just message him.
Thanks, Rodney.
Is anyone else there? Okay. All right. Well, if there's not any other burning questions, keep going, guys. Real estate's awesome. Don't stop. Like, don't quit. Just keep going. Yep.